All right, thank you guys. Happy New Year to you. Certainly exciting to bring in 2021. I'm sure it's going to be a great year. And believe it or not, I was the DD last night. So I know it's good to have drinking buddies, but it's even more valuable to have a driver. So I was that guy. I was the DD last night, the most valuable guy in the building. But anyway, guys, if you end up liking this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already joined, please feel free to tap that subscribe button below. Now, guys, once again, I'm really excited about 2021. I think it's going to be a great year. Let's go ahead and dive into some basketball here today. I'm talking about the Celtics versus Grizzlies, 7 p.m. Eastern tip-off in Detroit. The Celtics are the 9-point favorite on the road. Totals 213 flat. And if you like the Pistons to win this one outright in an upset, they're plus $3 for some money line cash. Now, guys, real quick, we're 2-0 in our last two college basketball tier package picks on patreon.com/BrockPage. We're also hitting at 63% in our last 16 college basketball tier package picks in that same category as well. And the good news is this: we have ourselves another college basketball tier package play going off today. We currently have a community of over 675 handicappers who are signed up and active on that Patreon page. And if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, the Pistons have yet to win a game this season. They're 0-4 straight up on the year, 1-3 against the spread in those contests. Detroit's in the bottom 5 in offensive field goal percentage, bottom 5 in shooting the three ball as well. The Pistons are also giving up 121 points a game, really struggling defensively. Meanwhile, Boston, on the other side of things, they're on a nice little 2-game heater. Victories over Memphis and Indiana. The Celtics also went 2-0 against the spread in those contests. And they find themselves in the top 10 in the league in offensive three-point percentage. Now, Jaylen Brown scoring 28 points a night, 4 boards and a couple of steals for the shooting guard. Meanwhile, Jason Tatum's also dropping 24 a game, 8 boards and 3 assists for the forward. And total-wise, Boston's last 2 straight got over the posted number. Detroit's 2-1 to the over in their last 3 themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Boston Celtics -9 and the over 213. Before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and say Happy New Year to you. Happy 2021. I know a lot of folks looking to just get 2020 behind them. Although, believe it or not, 2020 was the absolute best year for us here at Brock Page Productions. So I'm going to have a few fond memories of 2020 as well. But, guys, I think 2021 is even going to be more special for us here at Brock Page Productions. Now, before we go ahead and move on and dive into some more free content here on YouTube, just got to quickly remind you once again, we're 2-0 in our last 2 college basketball tier package picks on patreon.com/BrockPage. We're also hitting at 63% our last 16 college basketball tier package picks in that same category as well. And just remember, guys, when you sign up for a membership on Patreon, you get access to all the lesser expensive memberships on that site absolutely free. And no, you did not mishear me. When you sign up for one of my memberships on Patreon, you instantly get access to all the lesser expensive tiers absolutely free. The cheaper memberships are included with your purchase. And for those who are wondering what the difference is between my free picks here on YouTube, what you're watching right now, and what I do on my Patreon site, once again, if you want to know what the difference is between the two of them, what I do on Patreon is I make life a lot easier for you as I break down the daily card and typically focus in on just 3 to 4 premium selections per day. They're my personal plays, games that I personally have action on. It's not every single game on the NBA card side in total. And I'll tell you this much, I'm having a lot more success betting on games that way in smaller sample sizes versus wagering on every single game on the slate, side in total, like I do here with my free leans on YouTube. And if you guys are curious, for those who are wondering, we currently have a community of over 675 handicappers who are signed up and active on that site. And if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, link for that website is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. But with that, guys, let's go ahead and dive into some more free content right here on YouTube, because we have ourselves a very substantial slate of New Year's Day action. I believe it's 10 total games. So we got to move. Let's go ahead and move on. I'm talking about the Grizzlies versus the Hornets. That's going to be a 7 p.m. Eastern tip in Charlotte. The Hornets are -4 at home, totals 219 flat. The Hornets are on a 2-game winning streak with victories over Dallas and Brooklyn during that stretch. Charlotte also they're also 2-0 against the number in those contests, and they rank in the top 10 defensively in points allowed. Terry Rozier scoring 25 points a game, 4 rebounds and 3 assists for the point guard. Meanwhile, Gordon Hayward is also scoring 20 a night along with 6 boards and 6 assists. The Hornets are connecting on 38% of their three-pointers. They're taking on a Memphis squad who's lost 3 of 4 to start off the 2021 season, and they failed to cover the point spread in 3 out of those 4 contests. Now, Memphis is in the bottom 5 in the association in shooting the 3-ball. Meanwhile, defensively, they're allowing 123 points per game, so that's certainly not a winning formula for success right there, those two particular stats. But anyway, total-wise, Memphis saw 2 out of their last 3 get over the posted total, throwing out the Brooklyn game. Meanwhile, Charlotte saw 6 out of their last 10 head-to-head meetings with the Grizzlies get over the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Charlotte Hornets, -4 and the over 219. All right, next matchup I have for you. Did I skip it? Is it on the board? Oh, there it is. Heat versus the Mavericks, 7 p.m. East. Now, the Miami Heat's the 1-point favorite on the road in Dallas. Totals 222.5. But despite being favored on the road here, Miami's in the bottom 3 in the association in offensive rebounding, and they're scoring just 108 points per contest. The Heat's also allowing their opponents to shoot 42% from beyond the arc. They're taking on a Dallas squad who beat the Clippers by 1 million a couple of nights ago. They're actually up by, 50 points at the half. It was just a complete joke of a game. Poor effort. There was no effort there out of Los Angeles. But anyway, the Mavs are allowing just 108 points per contest, and they rank in the top 10 in fourth quarter scoring. Luka Doncic is scoring 24 points a game, 6 rebounds, 6 assists for the 6'7" guard. Meanwhile, Tim Hardaway Jr. is also scoring 15 a night along with 4 rebounds. And when it comes to the total in this one, Dallas saw their last 2 straight stay under the posted number. 3-1 to the under overall for the season. Meanwhile, 2 out of Miami's last 3 ball games stayed under the line themselves. We're going to lean toward a slight underdog in this one. Give me the underdog Dallas Mavericks, +1, and the under 222.5. All right, next matchup I have for you, it is going to be Hawks versus the Nets, 7:30 p.m. Eastern tip-off in Brooklyn. And, of course, this matchup looks a lot different this year than it did last year. But the Nets are -6.5, totals 245. The Hawks are +220 for an upset win here on the road. Now, Snell and Okungwu are still out for Atlanta. Rondo, Hunter, Gallinari, and Trae Young are all listed as questionable as well. The Hawks are giving up over 120 points a night, and they rank in the bottom 3 in the NBA in fourth quarter points allowed defensively. Now, they're taking on a Brooklyn squad who actually put up 145 total points on Atlanta just a couple of nights ago. The Nets have won 2 of 3 already in Brooklyn, and they rank in the top 3 in the NBA in scoring on average per game. Kevin Durant scoring over 28 points a night, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and a couple of steals a game for the 6'10" forward. Meanwhile, Kyrie Irving's also scoring over 28 points a game himself, 4 boards and 6 assists for the point guard. Brooklyn's in the top 5 in offensive rebounding, and they're shooting nearly 42% from downtown as a team. Now, total-wise, I can't imagine this one's going to get over this massive total again like it did the other night. Brooklyn's 4-1 to the under for the entire season, 2-1 to the under at home. Meanwhile, the Hawks on the other side, they saw 2 out of their last 3 road games stay under the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Brooklyn Nets, -6.5, and the under 245. All right, next game I have for you, it is going to be Bulls versus the Bucks. 8 p.m. Eastern start time in Milwaukee. The Bucks are the 14.5-point favorite, totals 235 flat. The Bucks are scoring over 124 points per contest, top 3 in the NBA in offensive rebounding. Milwaukee's also shooting 43% from beyond the arc, and they've been victorious in 18 out of their last 19 contests against a Central Division opponent. Chris Middleton's averaging 23 points a night, 7 boards, and 6 assists for the forward. Meanwhile, Giannis Antetokounmpo is scoring over 22 points a game himself, a dozen boards, and a couple of steals a game for the Greek Freak. Now they're taking on a banged-up Bulls squad who may have to play without Lauri Markkanen, along with Satoransky, Arcidiacono, and Hutchison. All are listed as questionable for tonight's action. Now, the Chicago Bulls are giving up 123 points a game, and they rank in the bottom 5 in defensive field goal percentage. And when it comes to the scoring in this one, the Bulls saw 3 out of their last 4 get over the posted number. Meanwhile, Milwaukee's officially 4-1 to the over thus far in this season. Milwaukee could maybe score 200 points in this one. Give me the Milwaukee Bucks minus 14.5 and the over 235. And of course, I'm speaking facetiously there. But anyway, moving on, let's go ahead and take a look at the Lakers versus the Spurs. 8 p.m. East. The Lakers are minus 5.5 on the road. Totals 230. And if you like San Antonio in an upset, they're plus $2 to win it. Now, San Antonio successfully covered the number in 3 out of their last 4. They're in the top 10 in the NBA in shooting the 3 ball. DeMar DeRozan scoring 22 a game, 6 boards and 8 assists for the shooting guard. Meanwhile, DeJounte Murray is also scoring 19 a game along with 8 boards and 7 assists. They're taking on a Lakers squad who may have to go to work tonight without LeBron James. He's day-to-day with an ankle injury. Now the Lakers, you also want to keep in mind, sometimes when LeBron doesn't play, they just sit out Anthony Davis. They just concede, dude, we're going to sit this one out. But anyway, so keep that in mind. But the Lakers are also in the bottom half of the association defensively in fourth quarter points allowed, giving up a lot of points late. Now, total-wise, Los Angeles' last 3 straight all stayed under the posted number. Meanwhile, San Antonio's 2-0 to the under in their last 2 ball games themselves. We're going to lean toward yet another underdog in this one. Give me the underdog Spurs plus 5.5 and the under 230. Excuse me. All right, next matchup. It is going to be Wizards versus the Timberwolves, 8 p.m. Eastern start time in Minnesota. The Minnesota T-Wolves are the 1-point favorite at home. Totals 234 flat. Washington's plus $1 on the money line. Now, Russell Westbrook is listed as doubtful tonight. Having said that, though, Westbrook isn't even Washington's leading scorer. That title would go to Bradley Beal, who's dropping over 31 points a game, 4 rebounds and a couple of steals for the 6'3" shooting guard. Meanwhile, Thomas Bryant also finds himself scoring over 17 a game from that center position, 5 boards and a couple of assists a game for Bryant. Now, Washington is in the top 10 in the NBA in scoring. They're also in the top 10 in offensive field goal percentage. I guess those two kind of go hand in hand. But they are taking on a Minnesota squad who's on a 2-game losing streak themselves. And they're going to work tonight without Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Noel. Now, Josh Okogie's also listed as day-to-day battling a hammy. The T-Wolves are they're scoring just 104 points a game. And they're shooting only 30% from downtown. Now, that's worst in the NBA in that particular category, shooting the 3 ball. Now, total-wise, Minnesota's a perfect 4-0 to the under thus far in the season. Washington officially 1-0 to the under when they traveled themselves. I'm going to lean toward the underdog Washington Wizards, +1, and the under 234. All right, next matchup. It is going to be Clippers versus the Jazz, 9 p.m. Eastern tip-off. Now, the LA Clippers are the 3.5-point favorite in Utah. Numbers 221.5. And if you like the Jazz in an upset on their home court, they are plus $1.40 on the money line. Now, the Jazz failed to cover the point spread in their last 3 straight. Just 1 and 2 straight up in those outings. Utah's yet to win a game at home this season, and they average just 109 points per contest. Their opponents are also shooting let's try that again. What am I trying to say here? Their opponents are shooting 43% from 3-land against them. That's not a great number for Utah. But anyway, they're taking on a 4-1 Clippers team who's 2-0 against the spread on the road this year. Kawhi Leonard scoring 25 points a game, 6 assists and 3 steals. Meanwhile, Paul George is also scoring over 22 points a game, 6 boards, 6 assists for the shooting guard who has started in all 5 of LA's games this season. Now, total-wise, 2 out of LA's last 3 ball games stayed under the posted number. Meanwhile, Utah's 2-0 to the under this season at home, 3-1 to the under for the entire year. I'm going to lean toward the LA Clippers -3.5 and the under 221 and a hook. All right, next matchup, it is going to be Suns versus the Nuggets, 9 p.m. East in the Mile High City. The Denver Nuggets are -4 on their home court, totals 222.5. And if you like the Suns to win this one outright, they're +155 for some money line cash. Now, the Suns have won their last 3 straight, 4-1 straight up overall for the year. Phoenix has also successfully covered the number in 4 out of those 5 outings. Now, they're in the top 3 in the league in defending the 3 ball, and they're also giving up just 97 points per contest. That is an NBA best in that particular statistic. Now, Devin Booker scoring over 20 points a game, 4 rebounds and 4 assists for the 6'5 guard. Meanwhile, Mikal Bridges is also scoring 16 points a night, 6 rebounds a game for the forward. They are taking on a Denver squad who's coming fresh off a double-digit loss to Sacramento just a couple of nights ago. The Nuggets are just 1-3 straight up on the season. Excuse me, and they failed to cover the number in 3 out of those 4 contests. The Nuggets are in the bottom 10 in offensive rebounding, and they're allowing their opponents to shoot nearly 44% from beyond the arc. Now, scoring-wise, the Phoenix Suns, on the other side of things, are 3-0 to the under on the road this season, 5-0 to the under for the entire year. I'm going to lean toward the underdog Phoenix Suns +4 and the under 222.5. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Portland versus Golden State, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, tip-off in the Bay. The Portland Trail Blazers are -3.5 on the road, totals 234 and a hook. Now, Portland's won 2 out of their last 3, and those were victories over Houston and the Lakers. C.J. McCollum scoring 28 points a game, 4 rebounds and 6 assists for the shooting guard. Meanwhile, Dame Lillard's also scoring 23 a night, along with 5 boards and 6 assists as well. Portland's in the top 10 in the NBA in fourth quarter scoring. They are taking on a Golden State Warriors squad who's got a handful of key guys on the injury report, and that's been true over the past couple of seasons now. The Warriors are shooting a pitiful 39% from the field this season, and they rank dead last in defensive rebounding. The Warriors are also allowing almost 125 points per contest. Now, scoring-wise, 2 out of Golden State's last 3 got over the posted number. No real surprise there, as they've struggled defensively. They also went 60% to the over in their last 10 meetings with Portland. And speaking of the Blazers, 2 out of their last 3 got over the line themselves. Give me the Portland Trail Blazers -3.5 and the over 234 and a hook in that game. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our quick pick recap, once again brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage, where once again we are 2-0 in our last 2 college basketball tier package picks. I like the Celtics -9 over 213. I'm leaning toward the Hornets -4 over 219. I like the Dallas Mavericks +1 under 222.5. I also like the Brooklyn Nets -6.5 under 245. I'm leaning toward the Milwaukee Bucks -14.5 over 235. I also like the Spurs +5.5 under 230. I'm leaning toward the Wizards +1 under 234. I'm also leaning toward the Clippers -3.5 under 221 and a hook. I like the Phoenix Suns +4 under 222.5. And last but certainly not least, please give this video a thumbs up right now if you enjoyed it. And please hit that subscribe button right now if you haven't done so already. I greatly appreciate it. I always appreciate any type of like, subscribe, or comment that you guys give me. I'm going to lean toward the Portland Trail Blazers -3.5 and the over 234 and a hook. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into some shout-outs. And from our YouTube platform, shout out to Matthew Keller, Tylen Young, Timothy Kelly, Vernon Williard, C. Dinger, Trevino Sloan, TJ Never Cared. Shout out to Yorkshire, Tony Hernandez. And last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to my man, Steven Quintanilla. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. Just keep in mind, guys, if you end up signing up for a membership on Patreon, just keep in mind, we'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So today's January 1st. It's a 31-day month, so you are getting your absolute, let's try that again. You're getting your absolute best value by signing up on the first of the month. You're getting max value by signing up here today in a 31-day month. So once again, guys, if you end up getting a package here today on Patreon, just keep in mind we'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. Also keep in mind if you end up getting a package here today, all the cheaper memberships are included with your purchase. So if you end up getting, the $4.99 package, all the lesser expensive memberships are absolutely free, and you'll access the picks to all those cheaper memberships. So just keep that in mind as well. But most importantly, guys, gotta thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Friday to you. Happy New Year's to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.